Have you ever felt like you're drowning in your relationships, but no one seems to notice? Like your emotions are a burden to others? You're not alone. Millions of people experience emotional neglect every day, often without even realizing it. You might be wondering why emotional neglect feels so familiar, like a deep ache that's always lurking just beneath the surface. It's because emotional neglect is incredibly common. In fact, studies suggest that up to 90% of people experience it at some point in their lives. And yet, we often struggle to put our finger on what exactly it is. But let me ask you, have you ever felt like no one was really listening to you, or that your emotions were being dismissed as too much or too sensitive? Maybe someone in your childhood would say things like, toughen up, or stop being so dramatic. These kinds of interactions may have seemed minor at the time, but they can add up and create a sense of emotional numbness. Imagine growing up feeling like you're walking on eggshells, never knowing what might trigger someone's anger or frustration. This is what it means to be emotionally neglected, to feel unseen, unheard, and unloved. As we explore the signs of emotional neglect, remember that it's not always about grand gestures or dramatic events. It's often the subtle things that can erode our sense of self-worth over time. Have you ever felt like you're just a thought in someone's mind, but not a priority? Maybe your partner forgets important dates or anniversaries, or your friends rarely check in on their own. Perhaps you've noticed a pattern where you're always the one initiating conversations or plans, while others seem distant or preoccupied. Now that we've identified some signs, let's dive deeper into the psychological impact of emotional neglect. When you grow up in an environment where your emotions are consistently disregarded or dismissed, it can have a profound effect on your mental health. You may find yourself constantly overthinking, replaying conversations and interactions in your head, trying to make sense of what happened. This can lead to people-pleasing, as you try to avoid conflict or rejection by always putting others' needs before your own. But beneath the surface, a part of you is screaming to be heard, to be validated. You may also turn to self-sabotage, unconsciously undermining your own goals and aspirations, because deep down, you don't believe you're worthy of success or happiness. It's like living in a constant state of emotional limbo, never quite feeling seen or understood by those around you. You may feel numb, disconnected from your own emotions and desires. This can be particularly challenging to recognize, as it often manifests as high-functioning depression, where you appear to have it all together on the outside, but are secretly struggling with feelings of emptiness and disconnection inside. You might wonder how childhood experiences can possibly shape the way you interact with others as an adult. But the truth is, our earliest relationships, or lack thereof, lay the groundwork for our emotional neglect patterns. Think back to your own childhood. Were you often left to fend for yourself? Or did your parents seem distant and preoccupied? Perhaps they meant well, but their busyness or stress made them unavailable to you. This can be especially true for those who grew up in households where emotional expression was discouraged or modeled as weak. For instance, a child might learn that showing anger is unacceptable, but bottling it up instead leads to resentment and disconnection. As we grow into adults, these patterns can become ingrained habits, making it difficult to form healthy relationships, set boundaries, or even recognize our own emotional needs. The irony is that we may be drawn to people who are also struggling with similar neglect patterns, perpetuating a cycle of emotional emptiness. High-functioning depression is like a chameleon. It blends in with perfection. On the surface, everything seems fine. You're successful, you've got a great job, a loving partner, or friends who adore you. But scratch beneath the surface, and the pain is palpable. It's like living in a constant state of numbness, where every joy feels muted, and every challenge feels insurmountable. You might be someone who always puts others first, sacrificing your own needs for the sake of those around you. You're the one who's always available, always willing to lend a listening ear or a helping hand. But what happens when you finally burn out from giving so much? When the exhaustion, anxiety, and irritability become too much to bear? You might be hiding behind a mask of fine because you don't want to burden others with your emotional pain. Or maybe you're afraid that if you reveal your true emotions, people will see you as weak or flawed. But the truth is, emotional neglect is often at the root of high-functioning depression. It's a cry for help, a desperate attempt to silence the voices that remind us we're not enough. Breaking free from emotional neglect requires acknowledging its presence in your life. It's a slow-motion earthquake that shifts the foundation of our relationships, making us doubt our worthiness of love and connection. Perhaps you grew up with parents who were too busy or preoccupied to notice your emotions, leaving you feeling invisible. Or maybe you're in a relationship where your partner's emotional needs are prioritized over yours, draining your energy. The first step towards healing is recognizing the signs of emotional neglect. Feeling like an outsider in your own family, constantly seeking validation from others, or people-pleasing as a way to feel seen. It's time to stop numbing your emotions with distractions and start listening to that inner voice. Begin by acknowledging your feelings, no matter how small they may seem. Write them down, talk to a trusted friend or therapist about them, or simply take a moment each day to breathe into the discomfort. By doing so, you're taking back control of your emotional landscape, paving the way for more authentic connections with others and yourself. As we've explored the complexities of emotional neglect, I want you to remember that you're not alone on this journey. The weight of unacknowledged emotions can feel crushing, but it's in these moments that we begin to awaken to our true needs and desires. It's time to start whispering your truth, even if it's just to yourself. Seek out the support of loved ones, a therapist, or a trusted friend. Together you can begin to heal the wounds of emotional neglect. And I invite you to join me on this journey as we continue to explore the complexities of mental health together.